I would say prepare the property so it's in really, really good order. So, if there's marks on the walls,
giving it a fresh paint throughout.
Yeah, a really good scrub, a really good clean. Make sure obviously you got your smoke alarms and CO2 detectors. Things like your boiler and electrics, you're going to have certificates to be able to rent. There's a gas safety certificate and ICR. So, that would be something I'd probably advise doing, especially if it's an older property or that,
you've not had them done.
You're not sure that, it's going to pass. Get those maybe done a little bit sooner so that if there was an issue, those works can happen rather than delay and move in for a tenant. Gardens, tidy it all up. Just give the property, all bells and whistles, look in its best. You'll attract the right tenant. You'll get the maximum rent that way. And also going forward when that tenant leaves, if the property's given perfectly, they need to return it back that way.
Definitely.
So there's no grey area on that.
It's very clear what needs to happen
when you had it, and
so
now
paint
some
it
marks
again
on it, and it's not down to wear and tear. So we're asking for that from your deposit to put right.
So they should just give us a call. We'll take some requirements. So we'll look at where they want to rent, what kind of property they're after. We do take some details of who would be living in the property as well. Just run through it all really.
So best place to start is going to be with evaluation. Get an evaluation on your own home so you know what equity is left in your home at the moment, and then starting to sort of pencil in where you might like to move, drive around the area, and start preparing yourself for that move next year. So starting to have a think about maybe schooling and how that's going to time in with children and all that sort of thing really. But your first port of call is going to be getting that valuation from the agent first.
Any property, as long as they're in good quality, they're going to let. So that is going to really reflect the quality of tenant you get as well. So whether it's a house or an apartment, at the end of the day, it's what works for you. So if you've got that yield of 5% plus, then go for it. So it's not necessarily focusing on what would work for I want a property in Old Town because that's going to suit a single professional, but actually any demographic or any part of Swindon is actually a really good place to invest. So it's more, I would say, about the property, not necessarily about the area.
Getting your house ready. So my top tip is making sure that everything's sort of not so much show home ready, but declutter where you can and try to do really simple things like move shampoo bottles, put them away in the bathroom, and just tidying away those things that to us are just everyday used items, but in a photo, a great big bottle of Tresemme and bottle of Colgate or whatever doesn't quite do it. So so just tidying away all those things that to you just are completely normal. But particularly for photos, because there are so many people that I speak to where they sort of say, what can I do to prepare for the photos? And sort of decluttering's the most important thing. But get a vase, get some fresh flowers, pop them on the dining table. Those little things, they all like make it look clean. That little bit
have
more
your
fresh.
windows cleaned, like from the outside.
Absolutely.
Cut your grass.
Cutting the grass is a big one. Obviously, in the summer, more so than ever. Really nice, fresh cut lawn. And actually, a lot of people will focus a lot on the back garden and not so much the front garden. But obviously, curb appeal, and that front shot is the first photo that goes online. So anything you can do to sort of spruce up the front is
move your bins.
Move your recycling bins out the way. If get a new pot, put some shrubs in it or something to put by the front door. These are all little things that will just make your property look really nice.
I think potentially it is like any kind of second-hand home or new build, depending on the time of year and the market. But predominantly people like new builds because they're all brand new.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to do anything to them. Like you bought a new build.
Yeah.
We're busy people.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's all just done, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think as long as you buy in the right area, and also you look after it. Most people, what do? Move 3 to 5 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, about that. I
So
reckon that would be us.
Your kitchen doesn't need redoing. Your bathrooms are still nice. So as an investment, I think it's pretty good.
So buying in, investing in any property is going to be, a great opportunity. Obviously, with money in the bank, if you've definitely got money in the bank, why not?
And our
why not
rental
invest
income's
at all?
still really good at the moment.
Really good. We are seeing a huge sort of influx in higher rental prices, and I think this has come from as well, Swindon, the bubble that it is. We are finding a lot of people as well that are moving from out of the area into Swindon. So basically supply and demand. So obviously if there's not, there's too many applicants that are looking for property and not enough property, and this obviously then pushes the rental market up in price.
So, photo ID, passport, ideally, we need to verify that in person. So we ask them to bring that along to the viewing. A proof of address dated within the last 3 months as well. So bank statements, utility bills, as long as it has the full address on, the date. What else do we need? That's a good question. That's pretty much it. But when it comes to the referencing, obviously, for the property, you need to make sure you can verify your employment, any landlord referencing, make sure your credit history is sort of up to scratch. We'd probably suggest doing like a credit check, just so you know before applying to a property, because you never know what you might have on there.
I think it's more so the adverse credit. So if there's any outstanding CCJs, IVAs or bankruptcies, that does come a little bit difficult.
Sometimes, you could be quite surprised what you have on there. So it's definitely worth looking on like Experian or ClearScore or something.
The best advice, probably understand what it is you're aiming for and reverse engineer it, work back,
Who gave it to you?
So that's a friend of mine called Irv, who would always talk about having this, just having a plan and saying, look, if you want to be there in X amount of years, it's not just going to happen, on year 9 of a 10-year plan. You actually, if you want to be somewhere on that date, you need to really kind of work that back to where you need to be today. And we do that in the business, where you can look at a target and actually work it back to how many phone calls do the team need to make today to hit that number that enables that whole sequence of events to happen.
Take place.